But aren't you always that person who grew up where you grew up in the buildings? Aren't you at core?
Well, the frame of reference for everything is that.
Yeah.
Because I play a lot of working class people, obviously, which is what I love to do. I came into this business because I always saw working class people in movies, in English movies when I was young, which is a very long time ago, always used to be sort of guys who were from middle class families. And
what a right old carry on.
Yeah, and they were always, they said, yes, Gov, it's a fair cop, and I'll come quietly, put the handcuffs on and all
and
this.
Perishing.
Perishing, blooming, and doffing their cap to the aristocracy and all that.
Liberty.
Yeah, and they never knew how to fight. So when you get in a fight, they'd always go, and you'd say, what is going on here? You know, and I really became an actor to get my own type of person right. I thought, I can do that better than he's doing it. Well, it's nothing to do with being a movie star. It was just this guy pouncing about being working class and grovelling and grovelling. The working class never grovel. They don't give a toss about anybody. You know, we don't care. I'm saying we don't care, like I'm some big working class. But it was a thing, the class thing in this country was much, much stronger when I was very young.
Yes.
And I was always very aware of it. And the villains were always sort of terribly like that sort of chaps, and suddenly they'd be, "God blimey, Gov, you know, I'll come quietly, it's a fair cop." And I'd done what was necessary to get a few quids, and all this was going. It was like, rather like Peter Sellers did a lot of it.
But, I mean...
Sound like the Goon Show, a lot of it. But it also, everyone went to RADA, and the woman always used to say, "I love you. Yes. I love you." Yes. And in America, you see those movies, and everybody laughs like hell on television. You go, "I love you, darling."
Was it this period you went through? I mean, you said you were a shadow, but you're an angry shadow, weren't you, in a sense? I mean, because you reacted to the circumstances you were in. Looking at your father, who worked in the Billingsgate, and you saw what happened to him, did that motivate you? Was that a reason that we now see Michael Caine instead of Maurice Micklewhite?
Oh yeah, it's tremendous motivation. When my father died of cancer in hospital, in St Thomas's Hospital, and when he was dead and I was leaving the ward, the sister, whoever came, and said, "These are your father's belongings," and she gave me whatever he had, and he had 1 and 11 halfpenny in old money, which is about, what now, about
9.5p.
9.5p. And that's what he had. And he'd worked all his life. He was a Billingsgate fish market porter. He worked very, very hard. And that's what he had to show for a life. He didn't own the house. We lived in a prefab, for Christ's sake. We were bombed out and we lived in a prefab. And even the radio was radio rentals, you know, which was £0.50 a week. This radio was probably worth, say, in that money, £10. And that's why the poor can't afford to be poor, because with his £0.50 a week, over the years, he'd probably paid somewhere near £100 for that radio, because he didn't have the money to buy it in the first place.
Yes. So this just determined you not to be poor?
It determined me to try and make something of myself. It determined me to try and get out of there, because I read a lot, and I knew, I don't know, I was one of those very bolshy working class.
Well, you're a bright boy, you're a grammar school boy.
I was a grammar school boy, yeah.
Sure.
How the hell I did that, I don't know.
Well, you passed the examination.
I passed the examination, sure. But how I did it, I don't know. But
that's what freed a lot of people, isn't it, of our generation?
The grammar school freed a lot of people, and the most important thing, and I got so angry the other day, I was reading a paper about them closing libraries. Yeah. They should be opening public libraries, not closing the bloody things, because that's where I was at the library 5 days a week. You know, with a new book, learning, trying to find out what was going on, and getting away and using my imagination. And now they're closing libraries. People should read. I sound like a politician, for Christ's sake.
No, it's an interesting background.